Hi, I'm Renée Walker, a mindset mentor, speaker, and lover of all things spiritual. I believe that at our core, we are all spiritually wired for love, peace, success, and abundance. Here on the podcast, we're diving into mindset, wellness, and business, but always through a spiritual lens. Let's just say we're going deep, but we're keeping it light. So let's elevate your life from the inside out, one conversation at a time. Welcome to Spiritually Wired. Welcome back to Spiritually Wired. I am dedicating this episode today to the topic of sleep. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I keep hearing from so many of you that sleep is not what it used to be. And I know that in my own personal life, I have been finding my sleep to be quite challenging. And I have been on a mission to improve my sleep. Once again, on a personal level, I have always been a good sleeper. I am one of those people that, honestly, I don't remember my parents having to ask me once to go to bed. I was that kid that would go to bed on her own. I've always needed a lot of sleep. I remember going to some sleepovers with friends and always wanting to stay up because that was the thing, right? Everyone was staying up late and I would fall asleep every time. And then I'd wake up and be so upset because I missed out on everything. But I've always just needed a lot of sleep. And it's something that even my family today, they joke about, because I will happily go to bed around 8:30, and it's just my thing. I enjoy it, or I used to enjoy it, because sleep has changed. And of course, I'm at an age where I know that my hormones are affecting my sleep pattern. And when your sleep is affected, your energy is affected the next day. It is the time where our body, our minds, our hearts, our souls go to rest, to restore, to heal. And so, of course, if you are not sleeping well, it's going to affect your energy the next day. So I have been really on a mission to improve the quality of my sleep. Again, not something that I've ever had to think about before, but it's something that in the past few years I have been thinking about quite a bit. So I wanted to share with you, because I know I am not alone, that so many of you are in the exact same boat. I wish I could say that I found the answer to it. I have not. But what I have discovered are ways in which I can support my sleep better. So as we say, we can't control necessarily our bodies. I'd like to think that we can control our bodies, and I think there's certain things we can do to support our body. But what I know that we can control is our environment. It is the way in which, creating an environment that supports our sleep is something that we can control. I recorded a podcast episode with Holly Short at the beginning of the year, and it was like 5 ways to simplify your health goals. In that episode, and I'll link to the episode in the show notes, I remember we talk about sleep in there, and Holly shared that, we have to think about sleep just like we would when, we are training young children to sleep. What we do is we create a routine for them so that they can start to expect to wind down knowing what's coming. So maybe it starts with a bath, and then they get in their PJs, and then there's maybe there's a snack, I don't know, story time, maybe a little song, a little prayer, something that you do together. And so we think easily to do that for our children, but we sort of stop doing that as we get older. And maybe we don't need it, but then maybe we do get to a point where, yes, it's time to create those rituals that are going to support me and my sleep again. So I loved when she shared that, because I'm like, oh, it's a great way to think about it. I'm a huge fan of rituals. I share a lot about my morning rituals. Actually, I still think it's the most downloaded episode was the episode that I did on the morning rituals that I do. But the evening rituals are also just as important. They're important for setting up the next day, but they're also important for opening yourself up to that rest and that healing throughout the night. So some of the practices, what I wanted to share with you today, are just some of the things that I have found to be helpful. I don't do all of them every night, not at all. A few of them I do every night, but I wanted to just give you some ideas, some things to just consider if, like me, you're in a space where you are really wanting to invite an environment that's going to support your sleep. So a few of my favorite practices to unwind at night. For sure, writing. Now, the type of writing that I do in the morning versus the type of writing that I do at night is different. At night, the type of writing that I love is more reflective writing. So when you think of your evening ritual, one of the intentions is to close the energetic loop on the day. So when we wake up, we're opening ourselves up energetically, right? And then we shift to doing things, to giving our energy away, and we spend the day doing most of that. We're supporting other people. We are giving energy. We're also receiving, hopefully, but we're giving a lot of energy. Your evening ritual is a way for you to intentionally close that loop. Writing is a way to do that. So taking a moment to just think back on the day, to reflect back on the day, and to bring to mind some wins, some things that went well, so that you can write some gratitude. So what are you grateful for? And that can be, 1 to 3 to 10 things. Just depends on how much time you want to spend writing your gratitudes. But one thing that I really find helpful is to go a little bit deeper. So I'd rather, instead of writing like 10 things, but I keep it surface level, I'd rather focus on one thing that I'm truly grateful for that happened today, or one person that I'm grateful for, an experience that I'm grateful for. And I'd like to go into the why I'm grateful for it, because it really sort of shifts me into that space of gratitude. So reflecting back on your gratitudes, and then also some of the lessons, because if some things didn't go well for you, and I'm sure for most of us, there's a lot of those moments, right? Where it's like, well, that didn't go as planned, or this is not what I was hoping for. It's an opportunity to look back and to say, okay, what can I learn from this? So it can be a mix of gratitudes, but then also lessons from the day. Again, with the intention of closing that loop. If you feel guided to write more, go for it. But that's just a great way to end the day. I am a fan of baths. I will say we have been in the process of moving. You've heard me share this with you on the podcast. We've lived in different places. I've not had a bath that I could use. So I just am back in our a beautiful washroom now with a bath. So I'm looking forward to starting that ritual again. For me, it's a weekly ritual, but I know that for many people it is a daily ritual. So really up to you, but there is something so soothing. So for me, it's part of my Sunday evening ritual where I take a bath, and again, closing the loop on the week. Right? So it just gives me that opportunity to relax. I usually will do a meditation in the bath, or I'll just listen to some very soothing music. I put some essential oils, some baths. So, we know Epsom salt is really good for the body, but I also love to include some Himalayan sea salts, because what I've learned is that the Himalayan sea salt is actually it's great to clear your energy field, your aura. So I will stay usually about 20 minutes in the bath, and it's just that way to fully relax. And I remember a student one time sharing with me that one thing she loves to do, which I thought was amazing, is she takes a bath, and then after she'll stand and she actually takes a moment and she will stay in the bath until the water is drained fully. And it sort of like symbolizes for her that she is letting go of anything that is not serving her energetically. And so she's sort of like visually is looking at the water drain down, and it's like her way of connecting with the fact that she's also releasing. I think it's a really cool practice, so I'm sharing it in case it resonates with you. And then, the nice thing after a bath is it feels so inviting to, take out those creams that you buy that maybe you never use, and, do some of those self-care rituals that feel good, but that, maybe you just don't bother doing the other times. Like for me, that's a time where I feel more, like taking out the gua sha and using the fancy creams that I've been gifted that maybe I just don't take the time to use as much. So nice time to do that as well. I love to do some reading in the evening, but I'm very intentional with the type of reading. I have to watch. I can really get into a book, so I will read things that I find are interesting but not too engaging. Otherwise, I can really get sucked into it. So great thing to do is to read something again that you find enjoyable, but it doesn't pull you in too much. While drinking some herbal tea. So herbal tea has become a ritual for me. I personally, I love some of the calming teas. I also love licorice tea. I don't know if you've ever tried it, but I remember a nutritionist suggesting it to me like 10 years ago, at least, maybe even longer, as a way to substitute for sugar cravings at night. I'm not a big snacker at night, I will say. That's not a big thing for me. But I love that licorice tea because there's a natural sweetness to it and it just makes me happy. So I'll maybe do a bit of reading or my writing while I'm sipping on that tea, and that makes me happy. Doing an evening meditation or some breath work. Again, I'm not a long meditation person at night, but a body scan meditation where I just, bring my awareness to the different parts of the body. And it's almost like it's that bringing to mind that mind-body connection where I'm telling my body, okay, I can relax. My eyelids are getting heavy. I can feel, the muscles. I have a lot. I tend to grind my teeth at night. So it's sort of like, all right, just telling my body that it's okay to relax. My jaw can relax, my body softening, being very present to softening my body. So, short meditation, doing a few rounds of breath work can be very helpful. One thing I will add that I have been doing as well is, again, part of this mission to improve my sleep has involved balancing my hormones. And so I do work with a naturopath. I work with a doctor as well to help me with that. So I am taking some progesterone at night, which helps to calm, helps with sleep. I've had to really work on adjusting my dosage. I am not a medical professional, so I'm not giving any advice. I'm just sharing that that's what I'm doing. So I found a dosage now that is helping me. So I do take some progesterone at night and some magnesium at night as well to help me with my sleep. So those are like the two supplements that I take at night to help me. And there's some great magnesium sprays as well. One of my friends, Rebecca, owns this company, Detour Co., where she makes this magnesium spray that is beautiful, that you can put on your body, and I just love it. So there's different ways in which you can add that to your routine as well. All right, a few other things that I love to do. Legs up the wall. So if I'm feeling very anxious, legs up the wall is great to do in bed, because you're lying in bed, you're just going to turn yourself so that your bum is facing the wall, and then you put your legs up. It is a way to redirect the blood to your heart. So if you're someone who tends to get anxious, and when I'm going through certain times, like, when your mind maybe is racing, or maybe you are feeling some anxiety, it's a beautiful pose to help calm your body at night. And you can do legs up the wall while you're listening to a meditation, while you're doing other things to calm your body as well. So that's something that I love to do. Coloring. I think I've shared this on this podcast before, but activities, because I really am trying to not be on screens and to not have, the TV on. So what do you do? Right? Writing is great, but again, you can do some of it. But if you're looking for some activities, for me, the coloring is just an activity that allows me to be present. It gives me a focus, and but I'm not fully engaged. I don't have to think about it. I'm able to, I find it unwinds me. I mean, my family makes fun of me every time they see me coloring in bed. But to me, it's just a very soothing activity. I know some people love to knit or do different things. So it just depends what activity, but that is something that I love to add as well. Aromatherapy, right? It's sort of like, what is the environment that you can create in your room that feels peaceful? Organizing your room and tidying it up, and maybe like setting your clothing for the next day. Those are such simple things, but they do make an impact. They actually make a difference, because maybe what you're doing is thinking about what you're going to be wearing tomorrow. So if you figure that out and you have it all ready, it's like the least amount of things that you have to think about, the better. And so when we can be in a space where we can actually relax, if you are someone who is sensitive energetically, you are taking in your environment in a way that you may not even realize. So anything. So when I mentioned aromatherapy, so it can be through, the use of candles, and just, creating an environment that feels soothing to your soul will help with your sleep as well. So, what I'm inviting you to do is to just ask yourself, like, what does my evening ritual look like, and how can I be more intentional with it? What is one small thing maybe that you can start to do tonight that will help you to unwind? Because really, what our sleep is an opportunity for rest and healing. And as I've mentioned, it's like we can't necessarily control what's going to happen in our bodies, but we have an opportunity to at least sort of do the best we can to create an environment that will be supportive. I also wanted to share with you, so, years ago, I attended this live event with Carolyn Miss, who is a spiritual teacher. She's the author of Anatomy of the Spirit, a book that I love. And she is a huge advocate of prayer. Prayer is speaking to God, right? One of the beautiful differences that the way that I've learned it is that meditation is listening to God, prayer is speaking to God. And so when we pray, we're setting intentions, we're being creative, our co-creators with the universe, with God, with spirit, with whoever it is, whatever that higher power is that you resonate with. And so inviting prayer as a way to end your day is so incredibly powerful. And she shared a prayer with us, and I remember just like writing it down. And so I wrote it down and I've adjusted it, and so I can't say that it's actually fully hers, but the prayer goes, come, and we're speaking to our higher power, whatever that may be. Come and take me and bring me to the realm of healing. I release myself to your care. Take the stresses out of my mind, my body, my soul. Remove the fear, the worry, the weight that I've carried today. Heal what needs healing. And then bring me back to my body with the sunrise so that I may be a vessel of grace. I just love that prayer. And I love the idea that when we go to bed, when we go to sleep, that we are taken to the realm of healing. And so I hope that this serves you in some way. If you are with me, we're in this together, and I still am staying in a space of faith that my body is receiving still the rest and the healing that it needs. And I'm really opening myself up to allow for rest to happen. So let this be your reminder that you are always spiritually wired for love, for success, for peace, for abundance, for light, for rest, for healing. I am sending you so much love, and I will see you next week. Thank you for listening to Spiritually Wired. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow and leave a review. It really makes a big difference for the podcast. And if you're ready to dive deeper and join a soul-led community, come be a part of the Spiritually Wired membership. With weekly live lessons and a rich library of recorded classes, it's designed to support you every step of the way on your spiritual journey. We currently have a special offer where you can receive your first month for half the price. You can find a link in the show notes or come check it out at reneewalkerwellness.com. Until next time, remember to take some deep breaths. Remember that you are spiritually wired.